Hello, is Rebecca of Supergirl Radio. I hope everyone is doing well. We are going to be starting our finale, our big finale of the 3-part series on Secret Hearts from the Superman family issues shortly when Morgan arrives to the live stream. But until then, I should let you know that we are, this is going to be a big jam-packed episode. We had a lot of ground to cover for the bad planning on my part. We have a lot of issues to get through. It's issues 216 through 222, I believe is what I said in the video description of this live stream. So we're going to get past the first 3 pretty quickly. We're going to super speed through them, and then we're going to really settle into the last 4 issues, because there is a villain in those issues that might be familiar to a Supergirl TV show fans from season 1. He's a character in the comics who has a particularly striking villainous costume / super villain suit, I guess you could say, and he likes to throw jails. So I'll just tease you on that. So we have a lot of ground to cover. So we're not going to do any news, no feedback, no snap judgments, because this could be a long one. So settle in. We've got a lot of soap opera goodness coming for you. We've got several guest voice actors who are going to be playing our soap opera characters. So I'm very excited for you all to hear their performances. Some voices that will be familiar to Supergirl Radio fans and listeners, but maybe a new voice in there. So you'll enjoy that, I hope. So we've got a lot to talk about, but these last couple of issues are very interesting in the fact that, and I'm going to adjust my green screen. Maybe I'll have to. But this is actually this has been pretty interesting for me because, sorry, I'm just going to adjust the, I disappeared. Okay, that may have fixed it. This research that I've been doing with the Superman family issues has been really informative about the chronology of Supergirl in the comics. I've been pretty familiar, tried to start reading from her early days, from her first issue up until kind of current day, but this kind of helped me connect some dots here. So we'll talk about that at the very end of this episode. After we get finished with all the issues, we'll talk about kind of where Supergirl goes from Secret Hearts and where she ends up. So we will chat about that. I see Margot down. Margot. I said Margot. I meant Morgan. Morgan is not Margot, but she could be. I'm sure.
I put in my like Real Housewives tagline for this one.
This shrew is ready for drama.
This shrew is ready for drama.
An homage to Margot Hatton, the shrew of Secret Hearts. Yes. So I've had Margot Hatton on the brain for the past couple of days. So I'm just going to be calling everybody Margot. Mark asked no news with all the news that broke this week. So I assume you're talking about the Superman legacy stuff. I need to do more research on that because I saw a Hollywood Reporter article that was like, yeah, this actor is maybe playing Lex Luthor, and there was no confirmation in it. And I was like, I don't know, that feels pretty speculative. I don't know. So I'm gonna do some digging on seeing
We
if we
want
can
to confirm before we give out the news that
Yeah,
it is the actual news.
It was in an article that used the Lex Luthor image of, or the Lex Luthor version of DC League of Super Pets. So I was like, how am I supposed to take this seriously?
Big Lulu fans, though. Big Lulu fans.
Big Lulu fans.
As we
Greatest,
all are.
greatest character in DC League of Super Pets by far. But yes, so there is that. And also, New Rachel asks, was Secret Hearts mentioned at all after Crisis? Were there any people questioning why Margot suddenly disappeared? Maybe never existed. That is a good question. At the end of these issues that we will be talking about, you'll understand where maybe Margot goes, and maybe what happens to Linda Danvers. But that's a good question. I don't know. That's an I don't know, New Rachel. I don't know if Secret Hearts is mentioned in the comics past 1981. I don't know if this is the only time it was popular, but maybe that'll be some more digging that I need to do. Mark does say Gunn hasn't confirmed Lex, but he has confirmed Jimmy and Eve. Okay, so I did see something about Jimmy Olsen and Eve Tessmacher.
I didn't see anything about Eve Tessmacher.
So maybe next time we'll cover that news because I wanted to make sure that I had the I don't even know why the Hollywood Reporter would be like, we think this is Lex.
Who could know?
Why would you write an article in the Hollywood Reporter that's like, maybe?
A little birdie told us. Any confirmation on that?
Nah. We're just guessing. We're just throwing things out. We need we need to put out some posts and articles. So we will look into that, Mark, and maybe we'll discuss that next time on Supergirl Radio. So okay, so we have a lot to cover. Morgan, do you have the doc? Lots in it. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and get started so that we can hit the ground running and finish out our 3-part series on Secret Hearts.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor Boardroom or Ballroom. Because
she looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Welcome to Supergirl Radio, your source for all things related to the CW Supergirl TV series and the character of Kara Zor-El. My name is Rebecca Johnson.
I'm Morgan Glennon.
And we are live and wired on the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel and the Supergirl Radio Facebook page to finish up a 3-part series on that time and issues of the Superman family when Linda Danvers, aka Supergirl, was an actress on a soap opera titled Secret Hearts. It's truly one of my favorite things about Supergirl was that she was on a soap opera. So I was glad that we were able to cover this entire arc as far as we know. Maybe we'll pop up on some Secret Hearts in the future if it's in some Supergirl issues down the line. But as far as I know for right now, this is the journey, the arc of Secret Hearts and Linda Danvers as Margot Hatton. So we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's just dive in.
In the last episode of Supergirl Radio, Supergirl discovers that the head writer of Secret Hearts, Greg Gilbert, has a gambling addiction, that the villain is Particle Man, BlackRock takes advantage of so he can steal the blueprints to make a 3D television. A criminal organization known as the Supercrime Task Force gaslights Lena Luthor into thinking she has telekinesis. A girl of steel from the future makes her way to the present day to fight a foe named Toxis. And Linda Danvers gets a soap opera promotion to play Secret Heart's new bad girl. Confused? You won't be after this episode of Supergirl Radio.
Okay, that should get everybody up to speed, and that's a good thing because we are going to have to super speed through the first 3 issues of the Superman family that we are going to cover because I didn't plan this super well, and so to get 3 episodes covering this, I had to squeeze a couple of issues in here. So we're going to talk about the Superman family number 216 through 222. So let's see, and then we're gonna take some more time over the last 4 issues that we're gonna talk about of Linda Danvers' time as Margot Hatton. But for these first couple of ones, we're gonna really get through them. So we're gonna start with the Superman family, number 216, which is the first one that we are going to super speed through. And in this story, which is titled Victory is Only 5,000 Centuries Away. And in it, the Supergirl of the future hypnotizes the Silvers, who are the new head writers of Secret Hearts after Greg Gilbert, had to go into witness protection, hypnotizes the Silvers into forgetting her counterpart's double identity because they switched places in the last issue. The Supergirl of 1981 freezes the molten lava into solid rock with her super breath. Both heroines manage to defeat their exchanged foes. Though Supergirl's powers are diminished by the orange sun of the future, and the future Supergirl's powers are increased almost beyond control by the yellow sun of 1981. So I hope that made some sense because that's really kind of getting it all in one take. After both Supergirls find a way to imprison Toxis and Belloc, the future Supergirl erases the memory of the future and of her from the 1981 Supergirl's mind, and then they return to their respective eras, and the case is done. So the future Supergirl, not evil as we maybe suspected, but they basically defeated each of their bad guys, and then to, I guess, protect their futures, they are like kind of erase their own memories so that they wouldn't know the future. So that's basically how that issue goes down. So
sad. She'll never remember future Supergirl.
It is a little sad, but future Supergirl had to sort of deal with Linda's soap opera life a little bit with the head writers coming over for dinner. So I'm sure that was chaotic for her. I don't know who had the better bargain in that scenario. But we are now going to dig into the Superman family number 217, which is a story titled We Interrupt This Program. While Linda Danvers is being interviewed on TV by Donnie Hughes, and a fan asks Linda about balancing her life as a TV star and her identity as a woman, the old, how does she do it question.
How does she do it?
Technological whiz Victor Marvin Block overrides their signal and breaks into their program. Block claims that he was wrongly sent to prison for 20 years and that he is getting revenge on his 12 jurors. Yeah, 4 of them have already died. So he's accomplished
doing pretty well.
Yeah. Block says that he will kill the remaining 8 with miniature explosives planted on their person. Linda secretly switches to Supergirl, locates the 8 remaining jurors with her supervision, takes the bombs from them, swallows them so that they will explode harmlessly in her body, and arrests Block. And all of this.
Didn't see that one coming, I gotta be honest.
Well, that's, she can do this. Supergirl can swallow a bomb
and then
it not be a problem.
Had indigestion for the rest of the night.
It was fine. And all of this takes place in only 2 minutes, so she's able to return to the television studio and continue her interview with Donnie Hughes.
How does she do it?
How does she? She did it, though. And what I like about this story is that it shows that not Margot Hatton, Linda Danvers had to go promote Secret Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
She had to go hit that talk show.
Had to get out there and make it happen for the show. No SAG-AFTRA strike at that point.
No wonder the show is like so popular. She's been doing the rounds, talking to fans, and hitting those
Going on the
talk
morning shows.
She has been getting them exposure, so doing a great job marketing the show. All right, so the last one we're going to kind of super speed through is the Superman Family number 218. And this is a story titled The Goddess from Hell. So this one is a little more serious. Some crazy things are happening with this one. This one doesn't have too much to do with Secret Hearts, but so we'll just kind of go through it pretty quickly. When Cherie Hatcher, a rich aging playgirl, invokes Hecate, I guess is how you say it, or Hecate, in a magic spell to bargain for her lost youth, she wants to be young again. Hecate promises her that 100 years of her life will be added to her if she can bring her Supergirl's soul. So this woman who wants to be young can be young if she brings a Supergirl soul to this weird sort of demon Hecate thing. Cherie is possessed by Hecate's spirit and has the girl still in trouble with her magic until Supergirl remembers that deer are sacred to Hecate and that the goddess of darkness cannot stand the light. Thus, she brings a deer with her and ignites magnesium powder with her heat vision, causing a flash that banishes Hecate from Cherie's body. So we have some sort of possession that's happening here. Ooh, I pulled up the wrong overlay. So let's see. This is the image of the kind of the freeing from Hecate's spirit from this Cherie Hatcher's body, and she kind of comes back to normal. So Supergirl sort of helps her out and saves the day. But the downside is when you're wanting to exchange I guess, immortality for someone else's soul, there can be some devastating consequences to that. So Miss Hatcher has now become an old hag for failing her mission. That's what happens when you make a deal with kind of the devil to be young again, and you fail. You become an old hag. That's the way it would be.
That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. I do like that, like her this like evil spirits Achilles heel was like, I just love deer.
Well, deer are great. Who doesn't love deer?
She's like, Supergirl did defeat her, but like also Bambi did, really. If you think about it. The deer's like, what's going on? Why am I here?
The deer really saved the day. So meanwhile, over on Secret Hearts, because this is pretty heavy stuff, but there's some Secret Hearts stuff in here. On Secret Hearts, Linda is getting ready to start Margot Hatton's transition into the woman the audience loves to hate. She started out as the shrew, and now she's kind of more of a bad girl that everyone hates. And being a TV star leaves her bushed, though, and she finds an escape valve as being Supergirl. So she actually is starting to have problems, possibly having it all. And this may be something that we will see as we continue to go through.
Can she not have it all?
That's the question. I guess we'll have to determine that by the end of this episode of Supergirl Radio, because that does seem to be a thread that happens through the issues and through her arc and what she is going through.
Go ahead, Arthur. Cut me from your will, if you dare. Remember, I know the one secret that could ruin you, even after you're dead.
Cut! Real nice, kids. Let's see the replay of the videotape to make sure we got it all. You want to roll it, Dave?
Go ahead, Arthur. Cut me from your will, if you dare. Remember, I know the one secret that could ruin you, even after you're dead.
Hey, come on now. What's the joke? How come Linda's not in the picture?
Great Krypton! I know I was being recorded by camera, but my image wasn't picked up on the videotape.
This could be a real problem for her career.
I mean, to be a TV star, I mean, you kind of have to be in the picture to do that. Well, this takes us to the Superman Family number 219 and a story titled Prison Bars Do Not a Cell Make. We begin on a typical workday on the set of the popular GBS TV soap opera Secret Hearts. But before it is over, its star performer Linda Danvers, secretly the Girl of Steel, will be confronted with a most baffling puzzle and a predicament. The audio of Linda's performance as Margot Haddon is recorded, so the audio's there. But she seems to have vanished from the video. So there's like her audio's there, but she's not appearing there. So where is the person talking? The crew will need.
Sure, she's not a vampire.
Well, I mean, we're that's a question. That's a question we have to put out there.
The people want to know.
The crew will need to reshoot and wonder if this strange situation is just a snafu in the equipment. It could be faulty equipment here. We can't rule that out.
It could be.
So, using her supervision, Linda determines that the cameras and recorders are functioning perfectly. So we've eliminated that guess. But during her scan, she did pick up the presence of some unusual field of energy permeating the set while they were taping. So there is a weird energy that's happening in the studio while these things are going on. Linda suspects an Emmy nomination is what's behind all of this, but you can't come up with with that as an explanation of this problem. Now, I don't know why she says this in the issue, because I'm trying to wonder, is it because she would make people jealous of her, or because it would cause the crew to be suspicious of the actors? I'm not really sure, but she's putting this she's connecting this dot to some sort of Emmy nomination that's happening. So I'm not really sure what that is about.
That seems like a bit of a reach, don't you think?
That's a real leap, I think, to take here. But she's trying to think of everything. So Linda thinks she can create an explanation for this odd occurrence, because this is very unusual. People don't know what to think about it. So she super speeds into the control booth to flip a switch, which makes everyone think that Linda vanishing from the video is due to someone leaving the blue chroma key switched on during the taping. With Linda wearing a blue dress, the chroma key device automatically blocked her from the image. And that's possible. If I were to wear a green shirt in front of my green screen, I might my top half would disappear. I would
now
be like covering your head.
Just still be floating there, though.
Yeah, I would still have a face, unless my face was painted green.
What if Linda was like, "Oh man, was this not the Blue Man Group day?"
She's just like head to toe in blue.
She's like, "I dressed like a Smurf for nothing today."
So this is what she hopes to accomplish, because she's trying to explain this weird occurrence that has happened to her, which really only happens to Supergirl. And so this is her explanation for it as of right now, because TV people would probably buy this. Linda knows that the chroma key isn't what caused her to disappear. She knows, but she's just kind of like covering her tracks here. Isn't what caused her to disappear from the video. So as Supergirl, she decides to investigate that trail of energy that she spotted. While in the case, Supergirl stumbles upon a tenement building that is on the verge of collapsing, and it has children inside. So this is a very sad thing that is going to be happening, that she has to save these kids. So in an effort to rescue the kids, Supergirl tries to stop a wall from falling. And when she does, she finds that her hands are passing through it. She has become intangible, and she's like a phantom and can't touch anything. So that would explain why she is not appearing in the video of Secret Hearts. Supergirl can still save the children with her powers, though. Using super breath, Supergirl creates a cushion of air to carry the youngsters. So she rescues the kids. So once the kids are safe, Supergirl notices that her intangibility is wearing off, and she's starting to become solid again, just in time for her to continue following a residue of energy in the air, leading her into an apartment. But when she gets there, there is nothing that she can see that could be responsible for her vanishing from the video recording. Disappointed with her investigation, Supergirl flies back to the studio. So she's trying to figure out what this weird energy is that seems to have gone along with the fact that she disappeared on the recording. So yeah, not coming up with stuff right now. Realizing she has unexpected company, Supergirl does a costume change into Linda Danvers and bumps into Herb and Marilyn Silver, the new head writers of Secret Hearts. They inform Linda that her character, Margot Haddon, is going to be stealing her maiden aunt's mortgage money. She is really turned into a bad girl. That is not a cool thing to do.
What a shrew.
They tell her that writing someone as nasty as Margot is refreshing, and that the audience is eating it up with a spoon, and the network big boys are happy. And I can tell you, as a soap opera fan, I would love that. I would kind of drama, the dramatic storytelling. There was a storyline on The Young and the Restless with Phyllis, who didn't like Christine. And Christine got married to Paul, and Paul and Christine went on a honeymoon. And Phyllis, out of spite, put was it an octopus in their honeymoon bed? Just like a yeah. So
an octopus, you say?
I'm sure that's the sea creature that she put in there. So
I hope it was.
So I like a bad girl in a soap opera because they are fun. They are the most fun characters.
They were literally sleeping with the fishes.
Phyllis is the best. She's always better when she's doing something dastardly. I don't know why they sometimes try to turn her around and make her a good guy. It's not as fun. Okay, so she is now on the show stealing her maiden aunt's mortgage money. They tell her that the network big boys are happy. Everybody's excited about bad girl Margot Hatton. Ratings have jumped 6 points since Margot went rotten. I mean, people are loving this.
That's a lot of points.
Offers have started rolling in for licensing on a Margot Hattel Toys doll. So I think this is a play on Mattel, who makes Barbie. So the Hattel Toys people want to make a Margot Hatton doll. So they're bidding on the right to market that. So I mean, I would love a Margot Hatton doll. I wish they made those.
A Margot Hatton doll.
I would love a Margot Hatton doll. While talking with the Silvers, Linda sees herself starting to fade out again. So this intangible phantom thing is happening again. So she makes up an excuse to get away so that nobody will see her do that. While flying around New York City, Supergirl decides to return to that apartment that she visited earlier, that she saw some energy coming out from it. And what she overlooked during the first time around was a little doodad, which she assumes is causing her problems, so she destroys it with her heat vision. She may be right about this because she starts to return to normal. She's kind of solid again, and everything is fine. Before she leaves the apartment, Supergirl reads a note that was written for her by an anonymous writer, and it says, quote, Supergirl, I figured it would be a cinch for you to locate this apartment with your superpowers. Sorry I couldn't be there to greet you, but if you'd like to meet face to face, I'll be at the New York Bank at noon tomorrow, making quite a sizable, not to mention illegal withdrawal. Ooh. See you then, unquote. So she is getting a message from someone she doesn't know who says he's gonna probably rob a bank. So I don't know how this connects to everything. Oh my gosh, she's becoming a phantom, and she's also getting letters from criminals. So maybe these things are connected. Supergirl smells a trap, but she is going to show up because she did get that letter as the invite. But she's going to show up as Linda Danvers. A man walks into the bank, rips off his blue shirt and white jacket and a macabre mask to reveal himself as Master Jailer. And,
my God.
we have a lot of familiarity with Master Jailer, both in the comics and on the Supergirl TV series. So Master Jailer is back, and he's trying to rob a bank.
Look at that costume. He is still serving. He's got the little belt. He's got the belt. It's got the little keyhole in it because he's a jailer. He's got his boots. He's still got like a little leotard on with the stripes.
And it's made of a prison cell.
Yes, it's made of a prison. Listen, Master Jailer is like, I will commit to a theme and I will serve you a look.
His suit is a jail with a key that I guess you can lock him up into it, I guess. A security guard recognizes Master Jailer as someone who tangled with Superman and lost. The guard bravely tries to stop him, but Master Jailer throws a jail. So his like superpower is that he can literally throw a jail. Like a physical jail, he can throw at people and jail them up and like lock them up. He throws a jail that grows bigger and surrounds the guard, trapping him in unbreakable steel bars. What I sort of envision with him throwing the jail is like in Supergirl the movie when Selena tries to traps Supergirl in those like bars that she like has come crushing down. I don't know if you remember that. That's sort of how I envision Master Jailer's
like a little
powers.
jail comes down, like a little bars come down, and he's like, "Oh
Yeah.
no!"
Yeah. So he traps the guard here in the unbreakable steel bars. Thinking he has handled anyone who would oppose him, Master Jailer instructs the tellers to empty their cash drawers on the counter. Linda sees this as the perfect opportunity for her to make a Supergirl appearance, but before she can do anything, Supergirl shows up right in front of Linda. How could that be?
What? Is it from the future again? Is she back? I told you I didn't trust her.
All the time. There are these duplicate Supergirls all the time. So really what it is a Supergirl robot duplicate, because the robots are all the time showing up in these stories.
Right. Of course, the robot duplicate. I'm so sorry. Silly me.
It's a robot duplicate that Linda sent to fight him because she knew it was a trap. She had already smelled that out. Turns out Master Jailer's phantom device was attuned to her Kryptonian body structure to affect only her. So one of Supergirl's robots wouldn't be harmed. So the Supergirl robot can come in, fight Master Jailer, and not get harmed. Master Jailer confesses to Supergirl that some people hired him to imprison her. His phantom device was meant to do the job to put her in a literal prison without bars. Master Jailer and the robot Supergirl get into a fight inside the bank, but Linda sees that the robot is slowing down. So the robot can't do all this, for a long time. She's been controlling it with super ventriloquism. And the amount of times that super ventriloquism has come up in these comics is something I enjoy very much. But Linda can't step into the fight because the device has rendered her totally intangible. So she's back being a phantom. She's a phantom now again.
How is this happening again?
So many things. Master Jailer fires a weapon at the Supergirl robot and she explodes. To his dismay, a piece of debris from the Supergirl robot explosion smashed the phantom device he had in his hand. He's got a lot of these phantom devices. I thought Supergirl had already destroyed one, but he had one on his person, so I guess he had
one. He had a backup.
I guess he had two of them. Master Jailer came across that device by accident, and he can't replicate it. So getting out of the area now that he knows Supergirl is nearby, so he's getting out of the area now that he knows Supergirl is nearby and could come
replicate it. But he had two of them.
He just came across both. He came across both of these things.
He's like, I found a pair.
Just go with it. It's a crazy story. I have a little bit of trouble with this plot, but I'm just gonna go with the story here. But Supergirl can't leave. Master Jailer's prison has worked, and now that his second device, I guess, has been destroyed, Supergirl fears that she may be trapped as a phantom forever. How is she going to get out of this phantom state? We will have to figure that out. And Morgan, you'll be surprised by who helps her get out of her phantom state because it's a character you might have some familiarity with.
Uh-oh. Now I'm excited.
So will you take us through the next issue, the Superman Family, number 220?
I absolutely will. We can't just leave Supergirl as a phantom. So the Superman Family 220 is titled Battle Beneath the Brooklyn Bridge. Awesome. And finds Linda Danvers still in a phantom state caused by a now destroyed device planted by the Master Jailer. Wanting to reverse what has happened to Supergirl, she follows him as he escapes. Master Jailer is also being chased by the police and is throwing literal jail bars, or as the issue describes, a giant cell door at them to evade capture, which causes the police car to crash. I mean, the irony there. Even though she can offer no help to the police right now, she has no effect on her physical surroundings. Linda changes into her garb just in case something happens and she needs to protect her secret identity.
Just in case she turns silent again, because it's been happening on and off. So just in case.
She's like, listen, I still got to watch out for my identity. So Supergirl has the idea to visit the idyllic New England college campus of Ivy University, a great university. Go Fighting Ivies. To connect with none other than Ray Palmer, aka the Atom. Oh, Ray, a good pal of mine from the Legends of Tomorrow. Let's see what that scamp is up to. So she is going to Ivy University, famous alma mater of Ray Palmer, for help to get her out of this phantom state.
Because he is a scientist.
He is a scientist, so maybe he can help. Supergirl recalls that Ray Palmer's costume, made of materials from a white dwarf star, is visible only when he shrinks down to his 6-inch height or smaller. Otherwise, it exists in an intangible state. Sure, because of her.
So what I think this means is that like Ray Palmer is
he just like always wearing it?
Yes, I think that's what that means. So he might be playing tennis. And it looks like he's wearing just like tennis clothes, but really intangibly, he also has the Atom suit underneath, I guess.
That is like my nightmare because I feel like that would be so sweaty. Like, and then you wouldn't have an explanation for why you were so sweaty because you'd be like dressed appropriately for the situation. They'd be like, Morgan, it's like not even that hot. And I'd be like, yeah, no, it's not.
I'm definitely not wearing multiple layers of clothing.
I just have this one layer on, this one visible layer on. Anyway, Ray is suffering because of Supergirl's phantom state. She can see that Ray Palmer is wearing his costume at the same time that he's playing tennis. Wait, so she can see the costume because she is also as intangible as the costume?
I think because of her intangibility, she can also see this.
The costume and I, we are at the same wavelength. So Ray Palmer might have a solution to help Supergirl, but how does she contact him? I guess she's gonna have to talk to that suit or something.
That's perceptive. I mean, that's kind of
close. Okay, all right. Suddenly, the calm of the college campus, Ivy University, is rudely shattered by the sounds of gunfire at the computer sciences building because some crooks want to make big bucks off of computer components on the black market. Hey, give me that floppy disk, they yell.
This is before you could just like go to the Apple Store or Best Buy.
Yeah. You better give me that hard drive. I don't know what they're doing. The funny thing is that they probably also don't know what the valuable part of the computer is. So they're just like, here, like the Zoolander, it's in the computer.
And also, this is 1981. Are these the like big computers still?
That's what I'm thinking. They're just gonna have to like throw the computer on their back. They've got like one of those little hand carts as they're like taking the computers out. They're like, oh, it's heavy.
When was the first Apple? What did they call them? The first Apple laptops? I'm trying to remember.
91. The first Apple PowerBook was 1991. So we are 10 plus years away from that at this point.
So these might be big computers.
So these are big old computers that they are stealing. So I hope that they brought like a little hand truck.
I hope they planned for this. Yeah.
Like, but if they're not, you have to lift. You have to lift, bend your knees. Yes. You gotta proper procedures, guys. Supergirl can't offer any help, but thankfully she isn't the only superhero on the scene. Ray ducks out of sight and shrinks down as the Atom. Convenient because he still had that costume on.
He's got the suit on
under his tennis outfit.
That's why he does that.
Sweaty but ready to go.
Sweaty but ready.
Sweaty but ready. That's the Atom's motto. The 6-inch Atom clomps his way onto one of the robber's guns and boffs his fist into his face, packing a 180-pound punch even in his smaller size. After taking out the first criminal, the Atom whacks.
Yeah, he's whacking, like whack and bop and clop.
Yeah. Pale. The Atom whacks the second one to the ground and saves the day. The campus police can't see the Atom, so all they see are the guys jumping around like crazy, and then Unconsciousville.
Yeah, so he's super tiny. So he's like a little insect to them.
The police are so confused. They're like, I don't know what's going on. First, they got out these hand carts and they were taking away the computers. The next thing I know,
they were just falling down.
Mark in the chat says the early personal computers came out in the early 80s around the time as this. The IBM PC came out in 81. So
Okay, so maybe Ivy University is like in on the ground floor.
Cutting edge stuff. Well, I would expect nothing less from Ivy University. One of the Ivies.
If Ray Palmer is there. I mean,
Ray
he might have provided the technology.
He might have. He's at
very
least
rich.
on the Arrowverse. He's very rich. So Ray Palmer goes into the locker room to take a shower. Again, sweaty but ready. Before he teaches his next class, kind to his students. And Supergirl sees his Atom costume in a locker. So her plan is to put it on to become solid again, which she does. But now she is also tiny. So this is a conundrum because she is visible but small.
Yes.
As Ray is about to hit the showers, he stops feeling his costume. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. It's gone. Suddenly I'm so much less sweaty.
He's lost that second layer.
He
probably feels different.
What is this cool breeze on my skin?
He's much lighter now.
I feel so much lighter. He's like, oh, I could dance. Okay. So he stops feeling his costume and recognizes Supergirl's voice, telling him that she is borrowing it for a bit. Ray figures out that his suit has stabilized Supergirl's atomic structure, which is why she is able to be solid again. But they need to work out how to do it at a normal size. So I'm imagining that Supergirl is quite small now. She's really teeny tiny, and she's like, Ray, please help.
And I also want to reiterate that she's gone into the men's locker room, and Ray's like
bold.
He's like a towel. Like all he has is a towel.
Ray is like the least clothed he'd ever been in his entire life. So I'm realizing that like Ray Palmer is a never nude because he's always got his costume on.
He just sleeps in that thing. He takes showers in that thing.
Oh, he's like, my layer, the layer that protects me from the world is gone.
But maybe I guess he doesn't take a shower with it on because he put it in the locker.
He has to take it off. He takes it off only for showers, it seems like, which is a good thing. It's smart of Supergirl to like wait around, and then she was like, "Hello, I'm down here. I borrowed your costume."
It was a little tight fit, but she got it.
Yeah, she got it on. Don't worry. Ray pushes some switches in his lab to return Supergirl to her normal height, and then a single lever is pushed to the on position, which makes her whole. It was so convenient. She experiences a feeling like her body is being squashed together under unbelievable pressure, but it's worth it. That sounds terrible, actually, but okay.
That's what she says.
That's rough. Poor Supergirl. What a day she's having. Supergirl is so happy that she could kiss Ray Palmer, and she does. Oh my goodness.
Very forward.
Supergirl is so sweaty. Ray has a wife, Jean, and Supergirl hopes to treat them to the best dinner in Ivy Town. Oh my God. When the master jailer is taken care of back in New York. I love the boldness of her, of being like fully like landing a kiss on this man. And then being like, I'm going to take you and your wife out. Bye.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. That is not maybe, that's not the best move here, I don't think.
Ray's like, I didn't want this, but okay. As Supergirl flies around New York City looking for Master Jailer, she notices that she can't see through the stone bases of the Brooklyn Bridge because something is blocking her X-ray vision. The only thing that could do that is lead. Dun, dun, dun. So Supergirl's investigation into this weird mystery leads her to Master Jailer, who teases her through prison bars that are charged with super magnetism, powerful enough to immobilize Supergirl. Wow, he's got so many tricks up his...
he's got a lot of jail cells. A lot of prison
He doesn't
bars.
even have sleeves, and yet in that leotard, and yet he's got so many tricks up them. So much so that it's powerful enough to immobilize her. So much so that she had difficulty releasing her hold on the bars. Supergirl quickly learns that the bars are of no use if they are disconnected from their power source. And when she picks them up and moves them, she's able to release them from her hands. Okay, sure.
Yeah,
No.
I guess that works.
Perfect sense. I'm not questioning anymore. I'm
Just
rolling with it.
just going along for the ride.
Just going along. Master Jailer tries to trap Supergirl again with super high intensity solar radiation, but Supergirl gives some heat vision back at him. When Master Jailer has no more traps left, Supergirl grabs his hand and tells him that they're going to see a district attorney about a prosecution. It's nice of her to do it so gently. Come on, Master Jailer. You can keep the outfit. During their flight, Master Jailer reveals himself to be a robot, which is a surprise to Supergirl. Supergirl.
I don't know why
Everyone
she's
is a
surprised.
robot.
Everyone has a robot.
Everyone's a robot in these comics. I don't know. I don't know why you're surprised. Turns out that the real Master Jailer has been monitoring their fight through remote control. Supergirl's X-ray vision shows her that there's a powerful explosive inside the robot, and it explodes. Thank Rao that Supergirl was able to gain some altitude before it did. No telling what damage it could have done. The Master Jailer, however, is still on the loose.
Couldn't quite imprison
Twist.
the Master Jailer.
Twist.
So that where we're picking up is the Superman family number 221 in a story titled "A Trip on the Light Fantastic." And in this story, we are told that Master Jailer's real name is Carl Draper. So that, to me, that's a little bit of a letdown. Master Jailer, I don't know. I feel like he should have a cooler name. Carl Draper. Carl Draper seems like a normal dude name.
Yeah,
No, like
it would have been fun if it was Don Draper, and it's like that was the mystery of Mad Men all along.
I
The
feel like
last
his name-
episode, John Hamm just puts on that leotard slowly.
That's who should play him in a cinematic universe. I would buy it.
I love it.
He could do it. He would be great at it.
He's got the
I
range.
I just feel like he should have like a prison pun or something in his name. But anyway, his name is Carl Draper, and he wants to send Supergirl on a trip far, far away. Meanwhile, Linda Danvers is embarrassed that Master Jailer made a dope out of her with that whole robot thing, because she should have seen that coming, and now has to deal with rotten publicity. She hopes to nab him soon, and since her work on Secret Hearts is done, she's got the rest of the night free to do that as Supergirl. So she's got to worry about publicity on Secret Hearts, and then she's also got to worry about publicity as Supergirl. So she's on the television like all the time.
How does she do it?
She's got to worry about her media image. So the timing isn't great though. She had a free night, but she forgot that she agreed to go shopping with the Secret Hearts head writer Marilyn Silver, who wants to blow a few $1,000s on a new wardrobe.
Okay, Marilyn. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot. Well, maybe if it's a whole new wardrobe, maybe that makes it okay.
Completely. Yeah,
She's starting from scratch.
She's starting over. She says, what I really need to get is a lot of pantaloons. That's what's really in. That's what's happening. That's what it's like. Pantaloons all day.
So that is what Linda's trying on.
So many pantaloons.
So Marilyn suggests to Linda that now that she is a hotshot TV star, it's time that she stop dressing. And this is what the comic says, like a refugee from Gidget. So this is a very dated reference. I'm assuming the Gidget here is like the Sally Field Gidget TV show where there are a lot of refugees on Gidget. I'm not sure.
I wasn't aware. But I don't know anything about Gidget. So,
but Marilyn Silver must know. She's a TV writer, so she
does. She would know.
Must have her finger on the pulse.
She's like, I know what the kids like. It's pantaloons and it's ruffle shirts. If you don't look like a pirate, what are you even doing?
The refugees on Gidget are not looking like that.
Everybody looks like a pirate on Gidget.
Not being able to fight the inevitable, she's gonna have to cave and go with Marilyn. Linda agrees to go shopping, and worried as she is over the whereabouts of what she's doing, even Linda can't deny she loves every second of it. So she really didn't want to go shopping with Marilyn because like that's kind of eating up on her free time. But
Yes, but who doesn't love shopping?
she got to try on some clothes.
Did you see those pantaloons she had on? Who could say no?
She eventually just kind of caved in and really enjoyed it. So she's been shopping with Marilyn, head writer of Secret Hearts. Now, 2 hours and $3,300 later. So they did stick to the budget.
Oh my God.
They stuck to the budget though. Good for them. They were like, we're going to blow $3,000. Just over the $3,000. So 2 hours later, Linda Danvers gets recognized as the actress who plays Margot Hatton on Secret Hearts. It doesn't go well, though, because a woman, a fan named Emily Feinstein, calls her a hussy. So she so this Emily person on the street sees Linda, recognizes her as Margot Hatton and calls her a hussy. She doesn't say that to Linda Danvers. She thinks that this person is Margot Hatton and tells her that it's, quote, disgraceful the way you treat people, Miss Hatton, unquote. Marilyn.
Oh no, Linda is learning that most people don't understand the difference between an actor and a character.
There is fictional TV shows and reality. And this woman is not able to decipher the difference.
Linda has bumped into stan culture in the 80s with no Twitter. They just yell at you in the street. By the way, I did want to point out that $3,000 in 1981 money from my best friend, the inflation calculator, is actually about $11,000 of today's money.
Cow, that's a lot of pantaloons.
That's so many pantaloons. Those shirts are so frilly. That's like $100 per frill on that shirt.
So really dropping a lot of money here on the shopping spree. So after this crazed soap opera fan calls Linda Danvers a hussy, Marilyn encourages her that this crazed fan wasn't attacking her personally. It wasn't about Linda Danvers, but attacking her character, Margot Hatton. And it's a good thing because it shows what a good actress Linda Danvers is. And I think that's probably true. She was so convincing as Margot Hatton that this woman thought she was Margot Hatton. So
yeah, she was like, how could you do that to your maiden aunt?
So her days as the bad girl of Secret Hearts is really coming to fruition here. So over in the area known as Wall Street of New York City, of course, Master Jailer is back with his old schemes, and he's trying to crack open a safe to use the money inside to finance his jail gimmick. So he's trying to expand his jail powers. Just throwing the jail cells is kind of getting tired. So he's trying to find some new things. And even for criminals, inflation has hit hard. It has really hit hard in the crime circuit.
It's tough out there, guys. It's tough.
It's tough out there.
He's
for
like
the
trying to like franchise his like jail powers. He's like, you too can become the proud owner of a jail.
So he needs money to make this happen. So Master Jailer is trying to kind of rob another safe.
I just love his little outfit. I gotta say, it's so fancy.
Well, Supergirl spots Master Jailer and she chases him down a subway platform, which requires 75 cents to ride the train. So I don't know if you want to look that up in the inflation.
Of course I do. You know I do.
So this was 75 cents to ride the train in New York City in 1981. So I'm curious as to what it is.
About $2.50 of today's money. So
okay, so not too bad, but it was still.
Second since I've been on the subway. The last time I think it was about that much.
Okay. So that seems to check out. All right.
Yeah. Okay. That hasn't gone up that much, I guess.
So it takes 75 cents to ride the train here in 1981. So Master Jailer is going down the subway platform and he uses his new rocket-powered boots. So this is a new thing for Master Jailer. He has gotten some new rocket-powered boots. He's adding on to his arsenal here.
And they are fabulous. They go with the outfit. They've got the stripes. They like leave like a nice trail of like pink dust in their wake. It's very glamorous. He loves them, I'm sure.
So he's using these new rocket powered boots to blow up part of the tracks and create a diversion to get away. And unfortunately, it works. He does create an explosion in the subway station. So this is very dangerous. And while Supergirl saves the train that is being affected by this, Master Jailer does get away. So this is something where she's having to deal with Master Jailer trying to figure out how to capture him with his new fancy rocket boots.
I know you're lying, Margot. Todd would never have left his brother at the hospital unless you lured him away with your lies.
Maybe I did, Adrian, but you'll never be able to prove it. Still, I suppose you might be able to come to some compromise, provided you are willing to stop seeing Derek and...
Cut! What in the blazes is all that racket over there?
As you heard while shooting a scene for Secret Hearts, one of the crew members listens to his transistor radio with the volume up way too high, alerting the studio of a news report about Master Jailer. He has taken one of the towers of the World Trade Center hostage with an impenetrable force field. So he's back up to no good, and he's down there at the World Trade Center of all places, causing some trouble. So this is we've gotten a news report about Master Jailer. So Linda acts like a diva on Secret Hearts, she's acting like a diva who wants to work on a more professional set so she can create an excuse to leave and stop Master Jailer. So the only way for her to get out is she's like, I'm gonna have to do some real acting and make them believe that I'm this diva who cannot stand this set where there's all this noisy chaos with this transistor radio, and she uses that persona to get away and try to go after.
I like that she goes like, I cannot work under these conditions.
She's really leaning into the acting part of it and having to really sell it. So she is going to try to go after Master Jailer. So Supergirl finds Master Jailer, and even as her speeding form pierces the massive force field that he's been doing over there at the World Trade Center, his gloved finger touches a certain switch that changes Supergirl from solid matter to pure light energy. Not this again. Oh, no.
How does he have so many of these? I thought he found them.
I feel like he's making them, but he's telling people he's not making them. I don't know. He seems to have
why is he being so humble? You know, like shout your victories, Master Jailer. I turned you to light again.
Master Jailer tells her that she will be traveling through space in that form for the rest of eternity. He's got this figured out. Supergirl can't feel her body anymore, and she has no control over her movements. All she can do is travel in a straight line at 186,000 miles per second, which is the speed of light. So she is in a precarious situation here.
That's dangerous.
Things are not looking good for Supergirl. And I especially like the way she's drawn in the issue because it's like a floating head in space.
That is pretty fast. The rest of her body is just a blur now. It's just her head on a comet.
Yeah, she's basically just like a comet floating through space at this point, thanks to Master Jailer. How will Supergirl get back to her normal self now? She thinks about so she's thinking about all this. She's like, how am I going to get back to my normal self? And while she's kind of a floating head up in space, she thinks about Albert Einstein and how he proved that light is composed of photon particles that have a mass just like solid matter, and that mass can be affected by outside forces like gravity. She's thinking about all this like science mumbo jumbo up there.
Sure, she is. Sure.
Yeah, so she's been reading apparently about Albert Einstein. She needs to alter her current course the merest fraction of an inch, and after concentrating really hard, Supergirl starts to feel the billions of photons that compose her body, gaining control over the particles. She really could use the help of like BlackRock, Particle Man BlackRock in this situation. He probably would know.
That would have helped, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So a new path is taking her now towards the sun in a space warp into this system. So I guess Supergirl up in space, she's channeling her inner Albert Einstein and is seemingly coming up with a solution to get her back into her physical form. And
very smart.
She's really channeling that super intelligence here that she has. So the space warp allows her not only to travel back to Earth, but to restore her body back to normal. So she's now kind of solid again. She's no longer a fancy like floating head up in space. Master Jailer is shocked to see Supergirl back from her space journey, and she hits him to the ground. I think the issue, does it say whap? I think that's the
She
action.
whaps him to the
She
ground.
whaps him to the ground. The issue ends with her telling him that she doubts that the court is going to hand him a quote light sentence unquote. So a lot of puns on the light thing that Supergirl is going through in this issue, but she has foiled the master jailer once again. So we have now reached the final issue of our Secret Hearts storyline. Do we have a lap cat friend?
One moment, please. He really wants the cords, so he's just gonna have to go down. I'm sorry. You've been so great. He was just, I was like, does he have those in his mouth? He shouldn't have those in his mouth.
he tried to do it for as long as he could get away with it.
Like, wait.
He was really into the story, I think.
He was really locked in there. He was really involved. He wanted to know what was going on with Supergirl. Was she ever going to not be that head floating in space?
He'll have to come back to hear the end of the story. All right, so do you want to take us out with the Superman family number 222?
Sure. The Superman family number 222 is a story titled "Stop My Life, I Want to Get Out," which is a great title. And Supergirl tells the reader that she is bushed. Even though she doesn't have any physical requirements for sleep, a super being needs to shut out the world every now and then, if only for purely psychological reasons. Mental health is so important, Supergirl says, and she is tired. The responsibility of being Supergirl and appearing on a daily television program has become a downright burden. Linda is having more and more trouble coming up with excuses to get away from the set every time she is needed somewhere as Supergirl. Secret Hearts producer Alan interrupts Linda's inner doubts about her lifestyle to inform her that the show has been expanded to a new hour-long format, and Linda is going to be busier than ever with more interviews on talk shows and extra work on the show. Well, it's great for her career, but not so good for her mental health.
She's already been really tired about her workload and her time as Supergirl, because she's having it's a double load. She's doing bad girl stuff on a soap opera and also getting stuck in space as a phantom. And so it's a lot for Linda. That's too much for one person.
It is. Like, you don't like to wake up in the morning, go to your job as America's favorite True, and then spend your evening as just a disembodied head with a light body until you remember the work of Albert Einstein. Listen, that's no way to spend a Tuesday, okay? She's got to find some work-life balance. I see Mark left a great comment, which is, I note that in the panel you just showed, she was wearing her fancy new pirate shirt.
Oh, let's see. Was it this one? Oh, yes.
Yeah, there she is. Look at all those frills. Beautiful. Beautiful. Worth $10,000.
She did spend a lot of money on that brand new wardrobe. Gotta wear it.
After creating a world of illusion for their millions of fans, the Secret Hearts director calls for a 1-hour lunch, and Linda wants to barricade herself in her dressing room. Alan doesn't have that on his schedule because he wants Linda to do an interview with a writer from TV Guide. Linda's face plastered on the cover is going to do wonders for the show.
Don't act so shocked, Rachel. By now, the whole town knows my sister's death was no accident.
My word, Margot. How in the name of heaven do you live with yourself?
Oh, it's easy, Rachel. Especially with my sister's inheritance.
That Margot. While shooting a scene of Secret Hearts, Linda gets frustrated by this play acting because she needs to break free to help an oil refinery in New Jersey. Sure.
Are there a lot of oil refineries in New Jersey?
I'm not aware of any. But okay, there's some power plants. I guess that's kind of similar, but not really. You know what they say about New Jersey? There's oil there. No. The only way to get out of continuing the shoot, Linda sets some of the equipment on fire with her heat vision. You know what? I get it. I get it, Linda, because like there are some days where I'm like, yeah, I could set something on fire with my heat vision to just get out of here. Just like kind of go
Just
for
have
a
a
nice
bad day at
walk
work.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been there, Linda. There's no real damage done to the camera somehow, but it does get it was on fire. But it does give Linda the perfect opportunity to slip away and take care of an emergency. But before she can make her exit, Linda bumps into Herb and Marilyn, the head writers of Secret Hearts, who want to talk about Linda's character and the new format of the show. Linda's feeling of discontent grows, and she is rude to the Silvers on her way out the door.
Yeah, she is feeling really irritable at this point. Linda's got a problem.
Linda's like, it's all too much for me. I was a floating head just yesterday. I can't. On her way to help with the oil refinery problem, Supergirl feels bad about how she treated everyone at the studio, lighting those things on fire.
Yeah.
Oops. After Supergirl puts out the oil refinery fire, she returns to Secret Hearts to discover that she is held up shooting for 5 minutes. And these kind of delays, they cost money. Which is true. Not as much money as setting a camera on fire.
that would cost more, yeah.
Linda's feeling pretty miserable about being in the world of make-believe while as Supergirl. She's too rooted in the horrible reality of life. These are pretty deep problems.
Yeah.
Before Linda can head home for the night, Alan stops her and tells her that she is needed in a heavy-duty meeting with some guys from Mattel Toys about making Margot Hatton dolls. When one of the Mattel Toys guys asks Linda to turn around and show him that she's what she's got to make sure she's got the figure to match Barbie's, Linda's anger erupts. Now this is where she should be using her heat vision.
Yes.
I'm not saying murder, but maybe set that man on fire.
Just scare him a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just like you did with the camera that was completely fine. That camera didn't do anything to you. Linda's anger erupts. She yells, "Mr. Ward, you can take your chauvinist pig buddies here and just drop dead." Oh, dang.
I think Margot Hatton is rubbing off on Linda a little bit.
Linda, good job. You channel that, Margot. You steal your maiden aunt's fortune. This exchange results in Alana threatening to fire Linda from the show.
Alan, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
A typo in the doc.
I was like, who's Alana? I wasn't ready to just go with it though, too. There are so many random people in these stories.
No, this is
I didn't know about.
No, this is Alan, the Secret Hearts producer here.
So Alan is threatening to fire Linda from the show because of how she stood up for herself against
some really gross guys.
Sexist toy executive. Also, like, would a Margot Hatton doll sell that well? Like, do dolls of like the villains usually sell particularly well?
If there was
okay.
If there was a Phyllis doll from The Young and the Restless, I would buy 10 of those.
Okay, that's fair, because especially if she had like an octopus in her hand.
Yes.
Ready to put that in the bed.
Like an add-on that you can just like, she can sometimes have it or not have it.
Comes with a posable octopus.
I would buy that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. You've convinced me. You've talked me around. Linda Danvers isn't certain how long this anger has been growing in her. She just knows that it could not have sprung suddenly on her, that it had to have been there for longer than she cares to admit. Even being mobbed by adoring fans feels like more people making demands on her time. Linda needs to get out of this. Linda's like, you know what? I'm sick of this.
I feel like we've seen it get worse. Like, I think it's been there in a couple of issues where she's been frustrated with her life, and it's started to come to a head now.
Yeah, this is not coming out of nowhere. There's been a couple issues where she's like, is this the best use of my time? Or should I be spending more time, out in the galaxy, a floating head, thinking about Einstein? I spent a lot of money on all these frilly shirts. Should I have?
But if she quits her job at Secret Hearts, she can't afford this frilly shirts anymore.
Yeah. Oh my God. No, she's like, I need to return a lot of these. So Linda needs to get out of her life. As Supergirl, Linda flies around New York City, stopping all kinds of nightly crime. And when dawn breaks, she spots students with nothing more on their minds than classes and their futures. Supergirl remarks that she can't remember a time when she was happier than being a student and thinks that the freedom in it was easier than being a TV star. I mean, yeah, I think that's probably like kind of universally true. Like, how old were these students? Were they college students? You never have a better schedule than when you're in college.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was the best time.
I dream of it. I I wouldn't have any classes in the morning because I didn't like mornings. You can't do that at any other point in your life.
And there's a whole week before finals where they just like no classes. Like
they're just
don't go.
They're just like study, and you're like, cool, I'm gonna do that.
I'm definitely gonna do that. For this whole week.
I'm gonna study that whole time. Yeah, I feel like what Supergirl is experiencing is having like a job and then thinking back and being like, when I was happier when I didn't have one of these.
Yeah, I get that. I feel that.
We're there with you, Linda. This sparks a major revelation for Linda Danvers, giving her the idea and the motivation to leave a job she hates to go back to college. I'm excited to see what she's going to be studying. So, in Superman 376, Linda Danvers gives Alan Ward her notice that she's quitting at the end of the week when her contract runs out. Convenient timing on her contract. They usually don't happen that way, but this time it worked out.
She had gotten promoted, and they were going to like extend her.
That's true, and they're making everything longer.
Maybe they were doing it because they were like, "Oh no, her contract's running out. We got to really make the most of Margot Hatton that we can." But now the contract's run out, and they can't do anything.
But
I don't know if somebody gets recast as Margot Hatton.
I mean, Margot Hatton is the shrew about town. You can't just get rid of that character. You got to recast her.
Because most of the time with soap operas, even if there is a popular actor playing a character, they will recast and keep that character going. But do you think though that the next Margot Hatton will be as good?
I mean, it depends, like, how devious is she? How nefarious is she? And also, will the Margot Hatton character continue to bleed into the lives of those who inhabit her, eventually driving them all mad?
I bet they're going to have a better work environment because the equipment's not going to get set on fire.
That's true.
The new Margot Hatton's probably going to be on time.
She's probably going to show up on camera, a really important part of the job.
She's not going to vanish from the recording so that they don't have to reshoot it. So they may have a better situation. But I
think it's going to be cheaper for sure.
I think Linda Danvers really created Margot Hatton in such a way that I think it's going to be tough for whoever comes in after her.
It is. It's going to be a tough. She's going to be a tough act to follow up. That's for sure.
Yes.
So she's quitting at the end of the week when her contract runs out. Then she locates Superman and helps him deal with a tornado in Kansas. While doing so, she informs him of her decision. When he tries to convince her that she can juggle both careers as an actress and a heroine, Supergirl tells him that she has not come to seek his advice, only to tell him her decision. I like, because in my head, Superman has like slowly become a big fan of Secret Hearts. Like,
yeah, he really wants her to continue. He's like, you got to see that storyline out.
He's like, I just don't know how Secret Hearts works without Margot, if I'm being honest. And she's like, but I'm gonna go back to school. And he's like, I mean, I don't know though. Like,
you have
just got that inheritance. Like, what happens next? Do you have to? Don't you think that's a little irresponsible to not finish out the storyline? Superman loves his stories. Superman accepts the fact that Kara is an adult now. She tells him that she is relocating to Chicago and flies there to enroll in Lakeshore University to take psychology classes. Psychology classes? Okay. This new chapter in Supergirl's history begins with The Daring New Adventures of Supergirl #1.
So this is how Supergirl's history sort of connects. So there's the Superman family issues, and then it goes into the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl, which we've read and reviewed some of, because that's where she meets Psi, where she's taking psychology classes.
Psychology. Oh, I see what
So,
you did there.
If you want to listen to those episodes, we did a character spotlight on Psi, and so we talked a little bit about Psi and her connection to Supergirl in the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl. So this is where this goes. So she goes from the Superman family into the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl, which we should probably cover in more depth at some point, but it's cool to see how this connects. So are you disappointed, Morgan, that she's given up her career as a soap opera actress, a star soap opera actress, and is now going back to college?
You know what? I kind of feel like Superman in this one. I was like, how are we supposed to do it without Margot? She was gonna have a doll. She's been stealing people's money. People are saying, Margot, how do you live with herself? She's like, just fine on this pile of money. I wanted to know what else Margot was gonna get up to. A psychology student, they're a dime a dozen. You know who's not? Margot Hatton, the top shrew about town.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen this continue on. This is in the time period where soap operas would have been pretty big. In 1981, soap operas were in the 80s a big to do. Not as much later on. Soap operas unfortunately have kind of dwindled in popularity and viewership, but back in the 80s, soap operas were the big thing. So I can see why they wanted to write stories in the Supergirl comics with her as a soap opera actress. But yeah, so I'm a little devastated, but I get it. She's got to move on to a new thing, and maybe she'll enjoy psychology classes and meet some new people at her new college in Chicago. So she's not going to be living that New York City life anymore, where she's eating bagels and lox and going shopping.
I hope she got herself a couple of good pieces of pizza before she went out to Chicago, where they're all deep dish and you can swim in them.
So maybe we'll catch up with Linda as she goes along in the Daring New Adventures of Supergirl at some point in Supergirl Radio history in the future. But many thanks to our cast of talented voice performers for being our soap opera stars in these episodes of Supergirl Radio. And in particular for this episode, Margot Hatton was played by Anne-Marie DeSimone, and Dave the Film Junkie, which you can find him on his YouTube channel, so check him out. He played the TV director of Secret Hearts, and he did a great job. And then Kat Calamia of the Legendary The Ladies podcast played Rachel, and our own Morgan Glennon got back into the voice acting game again to play Adrian. So thank you all for really bringing Secret Hearts to life and giving us a soap opera story that we can really get immersed in. So we really appreciate everyone's talents.
I think that Linda should have stayed as a soap opera actress for so much longer. I thought that was such a fun story.
Yeah,
they didn't bring that through long enough. I could have read a lot more of her having to juggle her soap opera acting with her Supergirling.
So if I ever got the chance to write a Supergirl story in the comics, this would be a thing that I would bring back. Maybe she wouldn't be an actress on a soap opera, but maybe she's an actress on like a Netflix series.
Ooh,
like bring it into the modern day. I feel like we need to continue exploring Supergirl as an actress.
I like
maybe
it.
See where that goes. And I should make a note because the chat fact checked me here. So we talked about a story early on about Hecate. Am I saying that, Mark, correctly? Hecate. So Hecate, New Rachel says, is the goddess of magic in Greek mythology. So I just wanted to point that out because the chat knew more about Greek mythology than I did. So that's the benefit of the live chat, is that people can tell us things that we don't know. Well, unfortunately, I think that's gonna bring us to a close on the Secret Hearts saga in the Superman family issues, and I'm devastated, but the show must go on. So now, before we wrap up this episode of Supergirl Radio, we need to get to some Supergirl Radio and some DC TV podcast plugs. If you would like to contact Supergirl Radio, you can post a comment on our website at supergirlradio.com. You can email us at supergirlradio@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave us a voicemail, you can call us at 678-718-7252. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram, all at Supergirl Radio. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, Podchaser, and Spotify, where we also have a Spotify playlist that includes music featured on and inspired by the CW's Supergirl TV series. We are listed on DC's fan page, which you can find at dccomics.com/DC-fans. If you like what we do, we encourage you to give us a rating and write us a review on Apple Podcasts. If you enjoy our Supergirl Radio live streams, make sure to subscribe to the DC TV Podcast YouTube channel and hit that notification bell to get notified when we go live and wired. DC TV Podcast also has a TeePublic store, so if you're in need of new DC TV related t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, onesies, mugs, notebooks, pillows, or stickers, go to supergirlradio.com and click on the TeePublic store link at the top of the page.
Hello, and thank you for calling the DC TV Podcast Hotline. Please listen carefully as some of our menu options have changed. Supergirl Radio? Press 1. The Flash Podcast? Press 2. Legends of Tomorrow Podcast? Press 3. The Lithuanian Room? Press 4. DC on HBO Max Podcast? Press 5. Stargirl Podcast? Press 6. Superman and Lois Radio? Press 7. Green Lantern Podcast? Press 8. The Sandman Podcast? Press 9. Justice League Dark Podcast? Press 10. DC After Dark? Press 11. For all other inquiries, please stay on the line and the next available agent will be with you shortly.
And since we are ending our time with Secret Hearts, we'd like to remind you about the S shields in the shape of hearts that we have in the DC TV Podcast TeePublic store.
I need to get some of these because I think
so cute.
They are amazing. So it sort of reminds me of Secret Hearts, and I think I need to represent my favorite soap opera. So definitely check that out if you get a chance. And I did want to just bring up one of Mark's comments really quickly before we move on. He says, I'm trying to picture Melissa Benoist playing this soap villain, and it's not working at all. I think Melissa Benoist could have totally played Margot Haddon. I think she would have been great.
Yeah, I feel like every time she had to be evil, she did a really good job. I think she would have chewed that scenery.
Do you think Catco has soap operas? Like Catco Worldwide Media. They had like radio stations and newspapers and magazines.
I mean, Cat Grant is the queen of all media, every single one. And I mean, anytime that there was something that they needed for the plot, suddenly Catco had that. So I feel confident that they have their own soap opera division.
I'm pretty sure they had daytime television from Catco Worldwide Media. So I think that would have been amazing. It's another missed opportunity that the show didn't capitalize on. And I'll forever be sad about it. But I would like to think that in my mind, in my head canon, they had a Margot Haddon on a Secret Heart somewhere there in the Catco building. Well, we would like to thank our legion of super sponsors for supporting the Supergirl Radio Patreon. These people are Michael, Anne-Marie, Yvonne, Quinn, Nicola, Abby, Miriam, Nicole, Brian, Ethan, Danny, Majuba, and Lingonberry. And if you'd like to become a legion of super sponsor, you can go to patreon.com/Supergirl Radio. And I think it is time for my plugs, where you can find me. Find me in several places. You can find me on the social media platform called Vero. I'm over there at Derby Kid. You can find out kind of what I'm watching, what I'm listening to. Occasionally I read or I start a book. I don't know that I finish books really, but I start books. So you can find out what I'm reading and listening to and checking out over there. I'm also on Instagram at The Derby Kid, where I post the occasional picture. And then you can also subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, which I hope to do more with in the coming months with Rebel Moon coming out. So you can go to youtube.com/duckmilkprod. And I guess, Morgan, should we do a Rebel Moon review since Stasnair, the famous William Day, shirtless in it in Rebel Moon?
Not a lot of shirts in that movie. I was gonna watch it anyway. So
okay, maybe we could have a Stasnair movie review and really see what he could really bring to the table when he didn't have to play a baker with an imaginary girlfriend.
She was so real, you guys. She just lives in Canada.
Poor William.
Oh, William. Poor guy. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at Mojotastic. You can also find me as a co-host on the Legendary Ladies podcast, which you can find on YouTube at the Legendary Ladies. Same on Instagram at the Legendary Ladies, and on Twitter at Legends_podcast. We're taking Thanksgiving week off, so this week, but we did just do a couple of episodes, one about the MCU and Marvel, I guess superhero fatigue, and one about the recent albums from Renee Rapp and Fletcher, where I got to discover who Fletcher was.
I don't know who either of those. Are they musicians? I don't even know. I'm like an old lady. I don't know who the new kids are on the radio.
I know. I was like, oh my God, one of them's 23. Oh no, mortality. But Renee Rapp, I at least knew because she is an actress also, and she was Regina George in the musical version of Mean Girls on Broadway, and is like reprising that role for the movie that's coming out.
The movie version of the musical of the movie.
The movie. Yes, exactly.
A literal 30 Rock joke.
A literal 30 Rock joke. So I knew her. She's also on a show on HBO called The Sex Lives of College Girls. So I knew her, but I didn't know anything about Fletcher. So now I've listened to both of their albums, and I thought that they were both good. So we talked about that last week. So next week is a mystery to all of us. That's why you should subscribe and tune in, and also send us ideas, because we are really open to them.
I might do that. Maybe I'll think of an idea that I can pitch to the Legendary Ladies. Something very interesting, though. I don't want to send you some like lame idea. We should do something cool.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be awesome.
I'll be thinking.
That's why we'll pick it, not because we are out of things.
Yes. Well, send your episode ideas for the Legendary Ladies for upcoming episodes, because you may get that idea to become an episode. So that could be really cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Supergirl Radio, though. But until next time, I'm still Rebecca Johnson.
And I'm still Morgan Glennon. And we hope you enjoyed learning about the time when Supergirl was a soap opera TV star on Secret Hearts.
McGurk! I love typing.
Not mess with my Google Docs, Meeksy.
Supergirl Radio is going live every night of the week. How do you like it? Is becoming a human burrito a plus or a minus? I don't know. It does seem snug.
I mean, they say you are what you eat.
Kira. I love that.
So I do a podcast called Supergirl Radio, and one of our segments is Lena Luthor, Boardroom or Ballroom, because her outfit.
She looks like a boss in this coat.
Nasty Luthor like a different Luthor? It's not just Lena being mean?
No.
Helen Slater here. So fun to know that you're hosting a podcast called Supergirl Radio.
Yeah!